the ANC's 2019 manifesto review, the party's president, Cyril Ramaphosa, vowed that the party would not dip below the 50% mark at the polls in the last year. A lot of the changes have taken place in the political arena heading to the 2024 election. Voters will be listening with interest to the ANC's January 8 statement as election season gathers steam. What exactly will South Africans be listening out for? To discuss, we are now joined live by political analyst Dr. Levy Ndou. Dr. Ndou, thank you so much for your time. Now, the ANC's president, Cyril Ramaphosa, says that detractors who want the ANC to fall below 50% in this year's upcoming elections will not see their wish fulfilled. And taking a look at the steady decline over the years, do you disagree with the statement by the president?
Good afternoon to you, Masa. Good afternoon to the viewers at home. Firstly, let's look at what you just said in your statement that talks to the challenges that the ANC has. And my sense is that as the ANC is moving towards the January 8 statement, the ANC is going there fully aware of the serious challenges that South Africa has, which requires the response of the ANC and its government. Just a few days ago, we were all quite happy that we're not experiencing load shedding. And the year has just started. Academic activities are supposed to start. Businesses is supposed to be focusing on its activities. But here we are with load shedding again. The economy has not been performing as expected. And that also requires the very same people that Mr. Ramaphosa would be talking to know exactly what the ANC has done and what therefore are the plans for the economy to grow. President Ramaphosa will also be talking and with a lot of interest to people that just got their results from different tertiary institutions, universities and colleges who want to get employed. And you also need Ramaphosa to give these people hope, and not just hope, but an indication that these people are actually going to get employed. And if such and many other challenges the ANC will therefore be able to deal with, then the statement by Mr. Ramaphosa could be correct. It is also true that if you look at the election trends since 2009, the ANC has been going down, and of course, one should expect something very new, something that will give hope to the voters that should come from President Ramaphosa's ANC statement as they celebrate January 8.
You know, Dr. Ndou, you've mentioned a plethora of things that are wrong, and we've known this also when he did give that address in 2019 already. What the ANC has done very well is diagnose the problem and come up with plans, and what it falls short on, as we've seen, is the implementation. This statement, this January 8 statement of 2024, I mean, how much hope will it really inspire to that unemployed person that you speak to? How much hope really will it inspire to someone who's sitting in the dark because of load shedding once again?
Well, I know that the leadership of the ANC first has to sit down and therefore talk about the general statement of the National Executive Committee. And my view is that as the ANC that has been given power, and the responsibility to allocate resources and make things right, my expectation is to hear the ANC that will be able to say, yes, indeed, we have done a diagnosis, but this is what we have started doing, and this is what we are also going to continue doing. But I want to tell you that if the ANC is still going to be complaining in its January statement about load shedding, and if the ANC is still going to be complaining about e-tolls or make promises that they are going to be scrapped and will take a very, very long time and nothing is done. That is the ANC that is actually not taking the voters very seriously. My view is that the ANC should therefore be able to go all out, talk to its branches, talk to its regions and provinces in order for them to be able to convince an ordinary voter. But as things stand now, you need the ANC that has to bring a brand new message, brand new hope, and everybody else will be able to say, indeed, the ANC is here to run. But of course, it might not be a very easy situation for other political parties, because you also need them to be very strong on the ground. You need them to put as much resources and energy together so that they are therefore able to give the ANC a good run.
You know, the party prefers to focus on the gains that it's made since 1994. And granted, they are there, but there's also high unemployment levels. There's a worsening economy. There's cancerous corruption. And, of course, failing infrastructure. And the list goes on and on and on. Should the governing party not focus on that too, as opposed to reminding the nation of the gains that it's made while we are in the dark?
Well, it is quite correct, that there are a number of gains that we've actually observed, and it is the very same ANC that still has to take advantage of the gains that have been made to actually remind ordinary citizens where they come from and what the ANC has also been able to do. But in my view, the unfortunate situation is that the ANC has a tendency of scoring its own goals. You have the ANC that has got the state capture report on its table. And out there, people feel that the ANC is moving very slowly in dealing with people that are implicated in the state capture report. You have got the ANC that in the last few years has been talking about strengthening the institutions that has to strengthen democracy in ensuring that activities of corruption or people that are seen not to be doing things that are not supposed to be done, nothing is actually happening. You have got the ANC that is overseeing the collapse of SOEs, and nothing appears to be happening positively in those SOEs. And that becomes a worrying factor. At the same time, you have the ANC that is given the responsibility to run municipalities, and a number of these municipalities are not performing well. Now, apart from the gains that are there, you still have very big challenges that the ANC appears not to be able to maneuver in terms of dealing with them. And that, for me, becomes a very, very big challenge. Equally, you also need the ANC to come out very frankly to talk about the caliber of people that are being absorbed in the government administration, whether indeed they are capable or whether they are they've got a mindset that is created to deliver services to the ordinary citizens. Because you can have the political will, you can have rhetorics, but if nothing is happening on the ground, people end up blaming you and no one else.
What would it mean for ordinary South Africans as well as the governing party should the ANC actually drop below 50% nationally?
Well, it will signal many things. Firstly, it will signal that ordinary citizens might have lost hope in the ANC and they want to focus on other political parties. It will also be an indication of disappointments on the ANC by those who had given the ANC the responsibility to run government. But at the same time, because at local government we're in the era of coalitions, most of those who have observed and followed the developments in the different metros will say we're in for a big trouble because coalitions are not actually functioning well in our metros. But on a positive note, when you have a change of government, when the electoral patterns are changing, it is also an indication that democracy is growing and there are a number of options that people can opt for if they're not happy with what is actually happening currently.
Dr. Ndou, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We'll be paying close attention to that January 8th statement. That's political analyst Dr. Levy Ndou.